good? I really wish your camera had a red light on the front of it.
I know. It does, just not when it's recording.
Seems like a little counterintuitive, right? Okay, so, yeah, so there's some stuff we gotta talk about business-wise. And I wanted to put this on video in some way, shape, or form because this is a decently candid way of me getting the things out that need to get out that I think people need to know about, as well as documenting for future use and evidence and other things that we end up doing. Which I realize that I've just become self-conscious of twitching, but I am tired, so, work tired, you know, because we put in hours. But, so.
Because it's what, 6:08 a.m.?
6:40.
6:40
a.m. Eastern. So here's the thing. I've been putting a lot of thought into where the business is at right now and why we're coming up with the missteps that we're coming up with and where we're kind of faltering and how we can change these things and also just current observations to where we are and where we're going. And a lot of this comes down to I just want to make it clear of where we are, like the things that we should have done, that we can't go back and do now, but we have to now start doing in some way, shape, or form. As I've been thinking about it, I've been noticing a pretty severe trend, and this is why I was telling you earlier that our outlook is kind of grim for what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
The form of establishment takes, it takes sometimes for small business, it can take years before you establish some sort of like cohesive thing. Other times it can take, a small business a month because they catch a spark in the pan and then they ride with it. I think we dropped the ball with our little flash in the pan, but I also don't think we knew any better at the same time. So one of the things that I've noticed pretty heavily is the fact that, I don't know why I have this because I pretty much have it in my head, is the fact that in our business, we work functionally based on what is popular in a sense, right? We function off of what is popular. And right now, we're kind of in a weird zone where some of the more popular things like Street Fighter are in a transition mode from Ultra Street Fighter 4 to Street Fighter 5. Halo's in a transition from MCC to Halo 5, which we already know MCC, we just got a Facebook message, as saying, hey, if you guys did any other Halo before, you might have people come out. Well, we can't unless we go out and get copies of Halo 3 and stuff, and other pre-patch, post-patch, and 360s. We just don't have the equipment, right? And the market pool right now for games is very small, especially in our area. And this isn't like a cry for help or anything like that, or like, our area is this, our area is that, but we not only thrive off of what is functional and popular, but also we thrive off of competition. Right? That's what we do. We host tournaments, we host competitions. And there's a reason why we do this, and I'll get into in a little bit. I've been dying to make a mission statement video, and I might just throw a lot of stuff in here now, what I want to get said in that. With that form of competition comes specific crowds. Not everybody wants to compete, right? And so the market we want to reach, which sometimes is the casual gamer who wants to sit on his PC and play the new Metal Gear that came out, and we want to somehow profit off of that in some way. We cannot. We cannot profit off of that, which, to say that we don't think about profits and money would be ridiculous. We have to. It's the only way we can put back and afford the equipment that we need. So that market, which would be more towards that internet cafe, land center market, we can't reach. So we thrive off of competition and competing. And our area, as well as a lot of areas, you don't always get people who want to compete. And we're starting to not only see that in our area, as we've seen before, but it's starting to even affect some of our bigger stuff. So, Smash 4, right out the gate, was a very popular thing, just like Smash was when it came out. You know, it's this game that people pick up, they think they can compete at it, and when you're in a casual environment, which we are, because we're on the Treasure Coast, which is not the most competitive environment, there are plenty of areas like this all around the country where you'll have one decent player out of an entire pack of people, if there are even people who want to play, because it's not built that way. When you're in college towns, when you're in places where people kind of are stuck together, so they play a lot, you get better players, you get better results, you find people who want to get better for whatever reason, pride or anything else, or just one-upping somebody. Well, when you can't even reach your arms out in this area and touch someone who plays as well, the need for me to get better than another Vero person is not as high, right? So Smash 4 came out, and we saw a big surge of competition. We've got a local group, which I won't shout out here because this is more of a negative thing, so I don't really want to bring anything negative towards them. But even their latest is showing that not a lot of people are signed up or trying to show up, and that is not only just a product of a couple different factors, but it's also like increasing entry fees and other things like that, but it's also a factor of the competition pool keeps drying up more and more because the better players are consistently taking tournaments and playing well in tournaments, and you're not always going to find those people who want to get better and want to keep trying. And this area wasn't really built for that. There's few people in this area who are actually like that. You know, it's like, I relate it to like football in a sense. Khalil Mack is a linebacker who plays for the Oakland Raiders. Why is that relevant at all? Well, he went to Westwood High School, right? So it's like you rarely hear about a good football player that came out of Westwood or came out of, you know, Centennial or anything like that, because you just don't. But you're going to hear about a good player who came out of like Southern California or who came out of Texas or anything like that, because they're in those areas to do so. So it's so rare for someone to come out of small-time Treasure Coast and be big in anything, and these are not excuses for why we don't have the things we have. These are literally observations from which you can just pick and pull from our situation and other people's situations. So we currently have that riding against us right now, that you're not going to get the people who have the fire permanently sitting in their belly looking to get better, right? That almost is the entire premise of our company, the whole inconspicuous gaming, you know, the hiding in plain sight, the people like me who thrive off competing, who make competing into like one big family and enjoy competing because of that. And I've always been a pretty avid player at most games that I play. And I'll sit here on blast and back it up with any game anyone wants to play me in, because I'm confident in that, you know. But nobody would know that, and no one would know where we are. And we as a group are trying to put the Treasure Coast on the map, in a sense, on a skill play level. But as for a professional place where people can come to learn and get better or compete, we can't even maintain a steady, consistent group of people who are willing to travel or do whatever. This is coming from, I believe, a couple areas. One, the game, we had a flash in the pan, and it's dying, just like it's going to, especially in an area that isn't used to trying to keep that fire alive. No one's prodding and poking the fire but us. And by us, I mean inclusive of us and our some of our affiliates as well, who are trying to do the same things. And then when we've seen over the years that we've been doing this, that if you try to deviate from the spark, I mean, you're just asking for failure.
Yeah.
And if you can't maintain something that's insanely popular and useful, then trying to build something that isn't sensational from the ground up becomes just as impossible. 6:48. Okay. Just as impossible. And so, where we drop the ball is that we came in at a weird time, and we kind of came in another group's shadow. Even though all rights can show that we've been around longer and we've been doing things longer and we've helped contribute more and we have more certain things about us, we didn't invite people into understanding that about us. Right? Most people don't even know who we are. They know me as Checkmate, as the player, but they don't know me as Checkmate as the tournament organizer, or Checkmate as the business owner or the competitor or whatever. They just know me from that side. They know me as Checkmate, the Smash player. They don't know me as Djilla, the Street Fighter player, or as Prozac, the Dota player. Or as Barakai, the League player. Like, they just know me as Checkmate, which is fine. But because of that, we missed an opportunity to invite people into why we're doing what we're doing, how we're doing what we're doing, and what we're trying to do. And we need to figure out a way to sustain that side of things, because right now we're probably going to cancel one of our events today.